What's happening, party people? Welcome to my weekly update, hanging out with Robert video. We are in Houston, Texas, hiding from the bitter, cold, snowy weather up in the north, mainly northeast. We're supposed to be headed from here, going home to finish up that S60, which is highlighted in the end of this video. Second half of this video's S60 rebuild. But it's so cold and snowy up there, we got work down here. It's not very warm down here, but in Houston, we didn't get snow like Dallas did. It's raining every 4 days, but we got plenty of work here. We're going to continue to do some work here, go to Cincinnati for a day or two. If it's warm enough, we'll finish that S60. If not, we're going to go finish David's T5R yellow car in Terre Haute, Indiana. Then we'll go back home maybe for a day or two, finish the S60. It's got to be at least 40, 45 degrees for me to be working outside, not snowing and raining. There's a foot of snow on that S60 up there right now. I can see it through my camera for my house. Then we're going to maybe dash out to Virginia, take care of a couple things there, a day or two. Then we're going back out to Lincoln, Nebraska, then to Albuquerque, New Mexico, then to Las Vegas, Nevada, then out to Southern California, and then head north into Oregon. So that's the schedule. We appreciate you watching. Thanks for your support, and hope you all had a safe holiday season and are having a great year to start. Thanks for watching. Kicking off today, got to get some salt on the sidewalk, clean off the cars that is going to be driven. Elizabeth's going to drive that car, Pepper, so I'm going to clean it off and warm it up for her. And just see what else I can get into today. Got my doctor's appointment, got another doctor's appointment, and I got stuff to do. Got it pretty much swept off. Now it's time to warm it up. Take it for a little drive. Best way to warm it up. Gotta remember, the seat is close because Elizabeth's been in. She's shorter than me. I just aired up a couple of tires, and as you can see, I have a low battery warning. So I'm gonna put it on the charger and tell you how long it takes to charge it up with that 1 bar. Came with a couple adapters. This one that is a USB-C. I plugged it into my power bank. It says it is receiving charging power, so that's good. Got a green light. And so we'll see how long it takes to charge that thing. Recently purchased this tire inflator. We're having problems with one of the vehicles losing tire pressure. I think it's got something to do with cold weather, but that shouldn't be it. Got this from Amazon. Going to do a little review of it. It was purchased, was not sent to me for test review, so I'm gonna give it anyway. But let me tell you what came in the box. You got this unit here. You see I got it on the charger. You got a little charging cable that plugs in USB there, USB-C up here. It's got another USB thing there. I don't know if that can charge something else or if that's also an input. Then you got a cigarette lighter plug or wall adapter, but this goes to the cigarette lighter. The other items inside the case: instruction manual, adapters for cars and whatever else you got, basketball, stuff like that, and a fuse. I didn't know it needed a fuse. It's got a carrying case, which is nice. You can keep everything in, not using the box. And here's the other charger I said. So if you're using this thing, you can plug this in your cigarette lighter, plug this in the charger, and while you're driving, it could be charging. You don't have to think about it. Not sure how long that'll take, but I am charging it this way. I had 1 bar left, so I'll let you know how long plugging it in to the USB charger will take after it was down to 1 bar. The hose was not hooked up to it. This part of the hose screws into the unit. Then that part screws onto your valve stem seal. When you get that plugged in so it doesn't leak, you screw that into your tire. You turn the unit on with the power button. hold it 2-3 seconds, it comes on. Then you can see it says car PSI and the preset PSI you want to inflate it to. This first button here is a light. You could do flashing red so people can see you. You could do solid, so use it as a flashlight. Strobe, warn people that you're in need of help, and back off. Next button changes the mode. This is car mode, motorcycle mode, bicycle mode, basketball mode, different presets for your tire pressure. And I don't know, people mode, whatever that means, probably inflating an inflatable bed or something like that. So you can set a different preset. This one is preset in cars to 36, which is probably too high. So you crank it down to what your car requires. I normally do 32. As you can see, I still have one bar there. Now to get it to turn on, you screw that in to the tire. It'll tell you the tire pressure where this 00 is. Then you push the button and a second, and it will start inflating the tire. So just give it a quick tap and it'll inflate. If you hold it for like 3 seconds, it'll cut the unit back off. There you go. So let me go ahead and put it back on the charger. I did inflate 2 tires. I didn't time them, but it took about 2 minutes to inflate one from 24 psi to 32 psi, and that was a low profile tire, a 17-inch with a 45 profile, and it took about a minute to inflate one from 30 up to 32. So it takes a little bit. I would say the one from 24 up to 32 probably took about 3 minutes. So I'll time it next time and put comments in the remarks. Thanks for watching. So far, it's usable. It is flashing. I'm assuming that means it's full, so we're going to take it off the charger, put it back into use. Here, to remove this tire, take it to the tire place to see if it got damaged. See, it's got this ring around it, which means it was driven on the flat. Sometimes that damages the inside. That is one of the older tires. I don't want to be driving around on the bad tires, so I'm going to have them check it out, see if they can figure out why it's leaking. All done. Headed up to the tire shop. I don't have none of the, a little bit of the crumbs in there. Kicking off a little bit of a tinker day. This is when it sucks, having your garage full of stuff and being kind of up north. Yes, it's freezing. I don't think it's 32 degrees, maybe 28, something like that. Need to change the oil on lemonade. It's been 8, maybe 9,000 miles. Check the oil, it was a quart low. My coolant level's dropping. Didn't know what was going on there, but it's dropping kind of on the oil cooler thermostat block off plate area. And I look there and I see wetness there. So it's got to be coming out of this thermostat, which I'm planning on to replace soon because it's a low temperature thermostat. So it looks wet to me. And I also replaced cam seals a couple months ago, and it looks like I'm having another leak back there. Some oil, not leaking bad, but it is leaking. So I need to see if one of those cam seals popped out. And this is where the coolant was, actually on the oil pan. So glad it's not the water pump. I can press on with that. So let me get on with that and see if I got a thermostat handy and keep moving forward. Kicking off the Tinker Day at Tony's place Gonna try to see if we can figure out why the coolant is leaking. Let's check it out. Give me a light. And here we are, folks, back to Byron's beast. Like the back door's open on this thing. Yep, it's open. Don't know if that's good or bad. Let's go ahead and see it's cranking and not starting. So I think it's an immobilizer issue that I'm gonna have to use the magic juice to fix. But let's see if it fires up. Looks like it's dead. Maybe. Oh, I didn't grab the key. Let me go grab the key. I had the key with me. Just had it in the wrong pocket. Look like that shift knob is dying. Let's see if it cranks without pushing in the clutch. Nope. Pushing the clutch. Dang, it ain't even cranking. He might have a starter out. I'm getting all the lights. No action. And here's some weird and a little pop in here for some reason. Let me pop the hood to see if I see any bad cable action going on. Put a jump box on it. We have a no crank situation. It's probably a bad starter, so I'm gonna go get a starter. Kicking off the Tinker Day. Got me a jump box, got me a starter, and some other stuff. I'm gonna test me a few starters, figure out which one's good, which one's not. Separate them, mark the cores, use the good ones. So let's get cracking. Gotta hold these things. Starters are tough and they will jump. So see if I can hit a ground on here and test this thing and see if it's good. Test one. Test two. Let me see if the Bendex is actually coming out. It is. I think this is a good one. All right, let's get another one. I have no idea why it's so hard for the place at the auto parts store to do that. Here in Sensei to work on Byron's car. I need to change the starter. Man, these people didn't leave me no room to change the starter. It was like parking wars. I was trying to pull around this area to park, no parking from there on, and drop my cradle down and hit this concrete here because this hole is bottomless. But I think I'm good for now, so let me move that car back a couple of inches and see if I can get this starter replaced. There's no parking from here back, but I guess these people didn't see that sign. Anyway, let me try to get this starter replaced. I don't really see how this is possible, but I'd like to get this starter out of here without taking off the ETM pipe. And I think I can if I take this pipe loose right here. So I'm gonna take that loose there, take this loose here, move that section out of the way, drop it down or whatever, and work on getting that starter out of there. I was able to get the two bolts out, get the stuff off the back, push it back far enough to get it up out of here. So that did work. Ugh. It's tight. I was getting ready to get a starter that was a little longer. Decided to get the one that looked newer. Man, I'm glad I didn't, because I don't know if I could have got a longer starter in that hole. Need to get a cover for this starter, but I did hook up the back, tightened it up, tightened these two bolts up, went inside after I laid the ground on there, bumped the starter. It is cranking now, so I believe that was it. Let me go ahead and finish putting the rest together. Here we are, hour and 10 minutes. See if this thing fires up. And here it is, folks. Low coolant light. Gotta get some coolant in there. Get done with Byron's car. His dad called me, told me his car wouldn't start. I think I have the key to it. Let's see. Yep. See if this thing will start. Is it a dead battery or what it is? Don't have no compression. Well, that sucks. I guess I better check the timing belt. Well, the timing belt says it was replaced at 110. And I don't think this car has that many miles on it, but I don't know what was replaced along with the timing belt, because this is not marked up. Something else could have failed and caused a timing belt failure. So I'm gonna take the cap off, see if the cam turns, but it just don't sound like it's got any compression. That sucks. It's got 150 on it, so that should not be the issue. But listen to this thing. So I looked in the oil cap and seen that the cams was pointing down toward the, I guess, power steering rack. Then I bumped the starter and now they're pointing up to the windshield. So timing belt should be good. Let me grab my jump box, see if I could jump it and crank it long enough to get it started. Got it running with the jump pack. So now we're scanning it because it's got a check engine light. Time for me to get started on this S60. Had a deer strike, tore the bumper. I've already replaced the hood. Now it's time for me to replace the bumper. And I think I need to replace the front clip frame, maybe the condenser. This piece that goes across the front's destroyed. Everything, I guess, from the engine forward has got destroyed. I already pulled the intake manifold. So let me go ahead and work on some of this other stuff. I'm gonna have to drop the coolant, and I guess we'll start with that. The coolant has a drain plug on the bottom down there. I'm not sure how well I'm gonna be able to demonstrate this for you guys, but hey, I'll do what I can. Got a little bit of protection from the rain. It's been raining off and on. Don't seem to be raining right now. But I'm going to go ahead and reach in here and remove these T25s. Got one here, 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 and one down in there. You can turn the steering wheel one way to help remove that stuff. You can also put the car up on ramps to help reach that stuff. And you can also jack it up and remove the wheels. After you got the clips across the top, of course this one didn't have when they were all exploded, the screws out of the sides and the clips out the bottom, you need to unhook this piece right here where the arrow is. It's a kind of a fine tab there. You can put a little screwdriver in, pry it out, and then pull the bumper off. So I pulled the bumper past it. Now I should be able to pull the skin off of this bumper. I got it to unhook up here, and the thing just popped off and fell to the ground on this side. So there's washer fluid hose I need to disconnect down there. Then I need to go on the other side and undo a big electrical plug to get the rest of that loose. I disconnected both hoses. One hose to this outer one was rubber, just pulled off. The other hose is a plastic connection, and I had to pull this clip out. I don't know if I had to pull it out 2 notches or 1, but I pulled it all the way out so that I can get the line off of there and pull the bumper away. And I got all kind of electronics and stuff back here. A lot of it's busted. I plan on putting it on with the new bumper. Looks like there's some kind of horn there, and that reservoir is draining. I'm gonna unclip that special clip from this side. It should fall down, but there's a big wire harness going down there that I need to unplug. I pricked myself with that tiny screwdriver I was using to free that latch, but once I pulled it out just about a quarter or half inch, it just popped off and the bumper fell down because there's nothing holding on the front. And there's the big plug there. You need to push the latch in on it and unplug it. I got that plug undone. Now I can lift this bumper away from the car and get the replacement one and work on replacing all this other stuff that's busted across the front of it. I think the intercooler's okay. I'm not sure if the condenser okay, but the radiator may or may not be holding liquid, I don't know, but it did slice this line off, so that don't need to be replaced. So let me see what else is going on. And of course the hood cable assembly is messed up, and there's a plunger for it there. I think that might be the open hood indicator thing. So front of this bumper piece here may be buckled, I can't tell, but definitely this brace here that goes across the front. So let me start taking that stuff apart and tell you what I did. All right, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this 8mm out here, holds this piece against the fender. I don't see much else over here except for these two. Not sure what this clip will be holding on to. I'm going to take this T25 out, lift that out. I'm going to undo this wire harness stuff that hooks onto that module, whatever this is. Some kind of sensor module for something. Not sure what it's for. I'm going to take that bolt loose there. I'm not sure if I need to take these two loose. It's not connected to nothing now, so it may have torn out of that. So I would probably take those two out, take this strap off here. Probably had another one here, 2 more here. Figure out how to disconnect the hood release cable. I believe that's what this is. I would open this up and disconnect it here. Take these two out, take this off down there, and maybe 1 or 2 other things to get this clip off. This cable release looks like it's got a flip lever. Not sure how it's supposed to come off. Maybe pry that out or something and it will hinge open like this. But I just pried it open from the side. Took it off. Then I could see where I could just unhook that. So I'm just going to unhook that, and the hood release should come out of here and stay with the car. Now I'm taking this off with this front clip thing with the hood releases in it. I cut these 2 zip ties, got this loose, unplugged it, because it will not thread through that hole in this piece of metal. Let me take this loose and see if there's anything else holding it on. I don't think so. There's 2 horns on this side of this piece here, and you can see the back of this sensor on this one. Some kind of plunger. So that should be good on my new clip. Let me get that out of the way. Now I got a few things here I need to take under consideration. And one is, if this is damaged, I need to replace it. I may be able to straighten some of these pegs out, but there's a lot of debris in there. And I don't think this radiator broke, even though it probably should have. But it's all bent up, so I don't know if I get the fan in there with it bent up like that. So let me drain the coolant and pull this radiator and probably condenser too. since this condenser looks a little banged up, so I'll have to service the AC system. Wish I could vacuum it into something to do that, but I don't think that's going to happen. All right, I'm wrestling with a couple things. I have a power steering. Man, it looked like it busted the bracket on that. I guess it's the power steering pump here. That stuff's been damaged a little bit. I need to put a reservoir on that. I imagine there was some kind of bracket holding that. I'll get that off of the donor car. This mounting system for that is busted. It sheared off the rubber tip, so I'll pull that from the other side. And it's got, man, hoses going over there. I'm gonna try to replace only the mounts on it. I guess I can with a tool on that. I hope it still works. I don't know. Could have took debris down in it and destroyed it. I probably should replace it so I don't have to find out the hard way. I think I'm gonna do that. It's got a 10 millimeter there to get this line off of here, this service line. So I'm gonna do that. Unplug it. Maybe replace this bracket. I don't know. The bracket doesn't seem damaged. I'm also think I'm going to replace this bumper support here, just so I don't have to bend this stuff up where it belongs. Sometimes these come off, sometimes they don't. But I'm going to take these 14s off of there. 2 here, 2 here. And do the same on the other side. See if that comes off. If it does, I'll take that off. I still haven't convinced myself to take this condenser loose, even though this thing is nasty. I hate to have to service this thing. And this radiator, I don't think they're leaking. They're just bent. I could actually bend those back, but probably not the best plan of action there. This stuff here is busted up on the sides of it. Supposed to be around the top. Not sure quite how that's supposed to go in there. I'm not sure what this is. It's a cooler of some sort. I guess I could. Okay, it's an oil cooler and it's connected to the radiator here. Coolant goes in there. So I could probably unbolt that and leave that. And pull this radiator out. Sad thing, if I pull a condenser out, I'll have to resurface it, which is not a bad thing. It's just I hate discharging this stuff because I don't have no way of capturing it. I'm not totally sure what locks this radiator in here. See the intercooler's down there, and this was probably hooked on it, and I can't tell if it's broke or what. It doesn't look like it broke. It looked like it came off. It pushed up and over. The other side broke, maybe. Let me take my glasses off so I can see. Whenever you go to take these off, you pull the screw out, then you push them toward the inside and then lift them up. They have like a latch on them right there. And those screws are T30. All right, we got all the screws out the side skirt. Get all the screws from across the top. When you're pulling these up real slow, you can feel them kind of hit a little pause. When they hit that pause, it's easy to work them out. So now we're going to go down here and find the main clips that'll pull out the bottom. That one's missing. That one's missing. And that one may be there. So these are missing clips. All 3 of them are missing. You could also make the mistake, like I did, start pulling these little T25 screws out. That's not necessary. This one's missing 3 or 4 of those. I'm gonna put those in before I reinstall it. I got the bumper off. Next, I'm gonna take these little wing things off. Little air guides. They're rubbery. Sorry, Miss Spider, you gotta go. They clip into here. So you release them, pull them out there, one on each side. I use a small screwdriver, lift them away from the car. When you pull these off, make sure you push those tabs. This stuff is old and brittle, and it'll break if you don't. Push it on both sides. The other car, they're broken. Next, I'm going to massage this styrofoam off. And you see there's two air guides under here. Those need to be removed. Find the clips on those, try not to break them. I think I'm gonna leave these two air guides on until I get this bumper piece off. This bumper piece does have this shape in it, but at least I got these tabs are straight. So the last car had 8mm here. This car has T30s here. So I'm going to take this T30 strap loose, and then these 4 bolts on both sides. It looks like I got some kind of stick pin here that I need to pull out. That looks like part of that wing down there. So pull that out and look for another one. Now the power steering reservoir has a clip here that holds it into this position. So I'm gonna pry this up and unhook it from this bracket here. I don't see any screws in it. I just see that wedge bracket. This is damaged. So I'm gonna try to bend this up once I get this removed, but this holds the back of the headlight. And then I see this plastic piece here is into this fender with 8mm, and I have a screw on the side here I need to get out, 8mm. I'm gonna have to take it loose from up here first, then I can get this from the side of this fender, 8mm. I didn't have to take this plastic piece off. To get this 8mm nut off on the back of this fender thing, I reached in from the other side and pulled that nut out. So now I'm gonna go work on the other side. So I noticed that there's something clipped here. So I unlatched that, I'm gonna unlatch that, and I unlatch this. Now I gotta unclip this, the cable for the hood release. I was able to get this 8mm out just by kind of leaning in there. I pulled those two out. I'm going to undo this bracket. It's probably holding the horns. And this may be loose with the cables after I undo that hood cable. There's a piece that's clipped into this over here. And it's right here. And it seems like it's something that holds the wire harness for your hood latches. Probably the indicators that let the car know if the hood is latched properly, because these plungers here push down, let the hood know. So that came off. I'm gonna try to straighten this out a little bit and not damage it any more than it is. It should kind of mirror that over there. Took these 4 out. Didn't seem to be nothing attached to that, but I see there was a stick pin probably missing that this guide is attached to. I'm not sure how it attaches back here, but this is on the front of the radiator. So I'm gonna lift this up and pull this out of the way. Gotta remember how this jigsaw puzzle goes back together. Now I got this piece here. This comes out easy on the other car because it was all bent up. So I could probably take a bolt loose down the bottom to get this out easier. I just muscled a piece of trim out here. Probably come out easier if I'd taken this intercooler package stuff out. I see we got a piece here just like it. Comes up here. Well, this is the air gap thing. That comes off. And I could maneuver this out or leave it in. It sometimes hooks under this thing, I thought. Just like that. Next, I'm gonna go ahead and unplug the fan, lift the fan out. Then I'm gonna drain coolant and disconnect the AC condenser. I got the fan out. I had to pry those clips open on both sides and unhook the fan. And then it was kind of hard getting past that cooler right there. So you just gotta massage it, maneuver it out of there till you get it out. It kind of sucks, to be honest with you, but it came out. So next I'm gonna drain the coolant. I'm gonna unscrew that cooler, leave it here. Use the one on the other car. And then I'm going to, I guess this is the AC dryer and stuff. I'm going to disconnect whatever I have to take the radiator, the condenser, and the intercooler over to the other car. I don't need the intercooler over to the other car, but I think this stuff will probably come out like a package easier. So let me put my dinner on and come back out and do that. Next, drain the coolant. That's the petcock there. I'm gonna disconnect that, drain the coolant, open the reservoir cap. Kind of had a hiss. That was unexpected. I turned the petcock so it was 12 and 6. I had a drip pan under it, but it started spitting coolant out that side. So, you live and learn. Well, it appears that this engine is out of coolant. I opened up what I thought was a petcock. Nothing came out. I checked in here. There's a little residue, but I don't think it has any coolant. Of course, that snapped, so it probably pumped it all out. But there's none in the radiator. Hopefully, the engine wasn't run long enough to overheat it and blow it. We'll find out. I'm going to go ahead and put it together and see what happens. I took the T30 out of the top of that cooler and it unhooks from the radiator. So that's done. Then I released this hose clamp, pulled that hose off of there. And I come over here, I pull up this clip. Now I'm pulling this hose off of this side of the radiator. This thing right here is broke, but if it wasn't, you would squeeze it in this tab and massage this out of the way. So let me see where I go from there. Well, I guess that was my bad. I thought this condenser and this radiator survived the crash, just got bent. But there was no refrigerant in the condenser and no coolant. Very little in the radiator, just a little bit dripped on the ground. So I disconnect the line there from the condenser, disconnect the line from that block top of the dryer. I pulled this radiator hose off, pulled that radiator hose off. And now, I guess what I'm going to do, since the top of this intercooler, I think is busted. Let me go check the other one. Yeah, I'm going to bring the intercooler over as well. So I need to get under here and disconnect the intercooler pipes and then do whatever's necessary to transfer these things over from one to the other. It's hard for me to tell or see how to disconnect the intercooler piping from the intercooler. This stuff is kind of latched in together. So I'm going to disconnect the intercooler pipe from there and from there and pull this package out with the pipe connected. That's going to be the easiest. And that did work. So I pulled the intercooler pipe off there. I lowered this bottom piece down. It had 4 10mm bolts holding it. I don't know if it would have been easy to get that off without taking this off. So I'm gonna clean this out, get this stuff off the donor car, and see what time it is. See if I have time to start putting the stuff back together. My dinner's almost ready. I'm ready to drop this intercooler radiator condenser package. After that, I'll need to get the power steering stuff and the intake stuff, intake manifold stuff. So I'm gonna knock it off here. Like I said, my dinner's almost ready. Go finish that. Set these parts somewhere that they're decent and call it a night. Start working on this in the morning. If you made it this far, I trust that you found some information that was either useful or entertaining, so go ahead and hit the like button. And if you would like notification of future videos that I post, please subscribe to the channel. I appreciate your support. You can follow me on other social media apps by looking for @RobertDIY. Some form of that should bring up the other channels that I have on places like Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and so forth. If for some reason you need some more personal help, go to my website at robertdiy.com and use the phone number that I have posted there to send me a text message, or you can email me. If you have questions or comments, please make a comment below. And if you'd like to make some kind of financial contribution to what I got going on here, go to my channel and hit the more link at the end of the introduction statement, and it'll show you different ways that you can support me financially. Again, thanks for watching. I hope you have a great day.